Hi, hello. We're doing another video of 6 Pokemon that you can build for 5 and 6 star raids. Now, I've done one of these videos before of Pokemon that are great for 5 and 6 star raids, and we're doing another one. So another 6. This is really great if you have shiny versions of these, or if you're still struggling in some 5 and 6 star raids, or you're just looking to do something and you want to build a new Pokemon. After I built them, I took them into raids to make sure that they were good for you, because building a Pokemon can be really expensive, and sometimes you don't want to put resources into a Pokemon that doesn't end up working out. So these Pokemon can work in a variety of situations. Now you might ask yourself, why do I need more raid Pokemon? I think we're going to continue getting raids in the future, right? The game is only like 3 months old. I think it's great to play with a different variety of Pokemon. I think these Pokemon all fit different skill sets. I think these Pokemon can synergize with other Pokemon. And on top of that, it's nice to get to a raid and go, oh, I don't think I have anything good, and then not be able to participate or be a weak link. No one wants to be a weak link in their raid situation. So by having a bunch of Pokemon in your box that is raid ready, you'll be able to quickly get in and out of 5 and 6 star raids faster because you have counters that you can use for different situations. Now, I will have graphics probably on the screen and also on my Instagram of how to build these, so you can refer to them and not like zoom back and forth through the video. But we're going to start off with Iron Moth. I love the versatility of Iron Moth. Full HP and full special attack. And Iron Moth's moveset is going to be Fiery Dance, Acid Spray, Sunny Day, and Morning Sun. I'm a huge fan of Acid Spray. I think it is the best raid move in the game. If you don't know what it does, it makes the raid boss have a -2 special defense, and it's considered an attack. Meaning not only does that power up your terrestrialization, not only does that give the raid boss a -2, which everyone who is a special attacker on your team can take a benefit of, but it also goes through the raid shield. So when the boss puts up the shield, you can still Acid Spray. Moves like Thunder Wave, moves like Fake Tears, moves like Taunt, they do not work when the raid shield is up. Acid Spray does, which makes it incredible. Now, Iron Moth gets its ability activated by Electric Terrain. You'll notice Sunny Day is on here. Sunny Day still boosts the power of fire type attacks by 30%. I believe it's 30%. There might be a little pop-up that says what it is. So that stacks with Fiery Dance to do more damage. Fiery Dance also has a 50% chance of increasing your special attack by every turn you use it. And then Morning Sun will replenish your HP when sun is up. So there's a lot going on here. Sunny Day is going to give you a Morning Sun support. It's going to reduce water type attacks going in. It's going to increase Fiery Dance. Acid Spray is going to benefit and increase the damage of Fiery Dance as well. We're giving it the booster energy as the item, which increases your special attack right off the bat. So you don't need that Electric Terrain. This is a huge special attacker that works really well with other Acid Sprayers next to you. Now, there are some other moves I would suggest that if you want to customize this a little more, maybe you realize you're not using Sunny Day, or maybe you're playing with a friend who always brings Torkoal, so you don't need Sunny Day. There's other moves that I would recommend on this. Struggle Bug is really great. And a quick note, Iron Moth has a really decent special defense stat, not so much great on the defense. So just be a little cautious when you bring it to a physical raid. As long as maybe you have Chilling Water support or Reflect, Iron Moth is going to do fine. But that is kind of where its weakness lies, is in its defense stat. Maybe you have the other version of the game. What about Slither Wing? Also great. I absolutely love Slither Wing. This is probably one of my favorite builds out of the 6 we're going to talk about today. We're going to give it the Hell item Big Root, and the Tera type we want is actually going to be Bug. Now, Slither Wing is actually the opposite of Iron Moth. Instead of special attack, we're going into full attack and then HP as well. And the moveset we're giving it is Leech Life, Lunge, Sunny Day, and Bulk Up. Now, Sunny Day on this Pokemon does activate its ability. We could have used the booster that we used on Iron Moth, but Big Root is really beneficial here. Sunny Day is going to reduce water type moves. It's going to increase fire type moves. It's going to activate your ability. But then we also have Bulk Up, which will increase your defense and your attack stat. I tend to always lean into special attackers for my raid builds because of how many of my builds revolve around acid spray and how powerful acid spray is. But I did want to include a couple physical mons, especially in this case. Slither Wings does cover some type weaknesses or some type advantages that my other Pokemon don't cover. But in this situation, you have Leech Life, you have Lunge, you have Bulk Up. So Lunge actually has a very similar effect to Chilling Water, which is a fantastic move. Lunge will do 80 damage, 100% accuracy. It will lower the attack stat of the Pokemon by 1. The real star of the show, though, is Leech Life. Now, you notice these both do 80 damage. They're both physical bug type moves. You might be like, Steve, why are we doing both? Well, Lunge supports the entire team, right? You might want to start off the game using Lunge to decrease that Pokemon in front of you's physical attack stat down. That's going to benefit you and your teammates, obviously, because that raid boss will hit not as hard. And Leech Life is going to take advantage of that big root and get you more health back. So not only is it going to do a crazy amount of damage because of Slither Wing's high attack stat, but you're going to get health back. But you're going to get even more health back because of the big root. Slither Wings is so hard to knock out. If you're worried about being the weak link, as long as you're not bringing Slither Wings to a raid where, like, obviously don't bring it to a fire type raid because it's a bug type and you have Sunny Day, you're only going to boost it. Don't do that, of course. But it's very hard for Slither Wings to die because of how strong Leech Life is. You get so much health back. I would get hit for almost half my health. Leech Life would refill the entire thing back after the raid boss would hit me. It's insane how much that would do. If you already have full health, you can default to Lunge. You would bring this to a dark type Pokemon. You could bring this to a psychic type Pokemon, and you would get that super effectiveness. Also grass as well. You could teach it Will-O-Wisp instead of Sunny Day. Again, if you have a different way to activate, if that Torkoal user is coming back and helping you out here. Will-O-Wisp is also another great move you could put on here. Absolutely an amazingly fun build to do if you have a shiny Slither Wings, or you just like Slither Wings, or you want to make Slither Wings work. One of my favorites that we've built so far. All right, I got nonstop questions about my Toxapex. I did test Toxapex out with a lot of Cinderace raids, and then after Cinderace, the held item, I just defaulted here to Poison Barb. And the main reason for this, you might be thinking, why not Black Sludge? Why not Leftovers? I don't really like Black Sludge or Leftovers for raids. Leftovers specifically, every time it pops up of like, you restored 20 HP every turn, that takes away from the timer. And the last thing you want to do is waste your timer on words that pop up. It's really, really hard to knock out Toxapex. I don't think the held item of Leftovers or even Black Sludge is beneficial because of it's really hard to knock it out. It's really, really bulky. Now, this might be one of the weirdest EV spreads you've seen. The stat distribution here needed a little bit more attention than the two Pokemon I just showed off. So we're actually doing 252 in HP. You can tell it's 252. You can tell it's max because it's sparkly. You can see the little HP sparkle. But because Toxapex's defense and special defense are so incredibly high, we're actually only going to put 60 EV investments in both defense and special defense. With some Pokemon stats, there's kind of diminishing returns if you invest more than you need to. So even though that Toxapex doesn't hit really hard, there was really no point to go over 60 because between 60 and this is, I guess, a little technical, between like 60 and 252, I was only really seeing like a 3 to 5% damage difference. And really, we got the most out of just putting 60 in. So we're going to do 252 HP, 60 in defense, 60 in special defense. It's going to come with Chilling Water. That's going to decrease the physical attack of the raid boss you're doing. Beneficial to the whole team. My favorite move, Acid Spray, is here. You're going to pair this with other special Pokemon standing next to you. If the raid boss's poison will become a critical hit. That's not the biggest deal in the entire world. It's just the regenerator ability doesn't activate in raids, so there's no really reason to run that. But yeah, we're going back to the held item. We're just going to do Poison Barb. It's just going to boost our poison type moves. The two of our three moves are going to be poison. If there's another item you prefer, feel free. Again, with the Leftovers, I did run Leftovers for about 20 raids, or I should say Black Sludge, because they do the same thing. I ran it without for another 20 raids. And the only difference was when I had it on, I felt like I wasted more of the timer. Now, Toxapex does have access to recover. You can also put other moves I would maybe suggest if you wanted to mix this up. You could do Rain Dance. That would decrease any fire type moves coming in. That would boost your Chilling Water. If you're playing alongside of other water type Pokemon, that would boost the attack of those water type Pokemon. You could also put Venoshock. If the raid boss does end up being poisoned, Venoshock does more damage. On top of doing more damage, it gets that critical hit because the target is poisoned. But in the 20 raids not running Black Sludge, I think I only hit recover once. Toxapex is going to be that Pokemon that is probably going to heal cheer in between acid sprays. They're probably not going to hit Sludge Bomb too much. If you are hitting Sludge Bomb, it's probably because your raid is wildly successful. So your bread and butter here is Chilling Water, Acid Spray. It's really, really hard to knock out this Toxapex. You get a little bit of benefit from the poison barb here, but you know, I'm bringing you these raid builds. If you would like to customize them, if you have something slightly better, feel free to leave a comment down below. I absolutely love this Toxapex. I bring into a lot of raids, but also if you're leaving a comment below, hit the little subscribe button, hit the bell, all that stuff. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. I think as of this recording, we're at like 80,000, which is 4/5 the way there. Okay, I wanted to add some versatility to the team here. I actually got this from a community member when they brought a Polteageist, and I looked more into it. And this is a really cool Pokemon. A little bit more complex maybe to use than just the whole I'm either attack or I'm support. This is more of like a technical support, I guess. For EVs, we're doing max HP and max defense. And our moveset is Psyshock, Light Screen, Reflect, and Skill Swap. And our ability is Weak Armor. Polteageist is going to come to raids where you need to remove or want to remove the ability from the raid boss. I think the raid boss that maybe stands out in everyone's mind of having a very hard ability to deal with would be Annihilate, because normally its ability is Defiant. And if, you know, the NPCs or your partners are trying to lower its stats, that's going to activate Defiant. So what Skill Swap is going to do, if you're bringing Polteageist, you're using Skill Swap on turn 1. Without a doubt, that is why you're bringing Polteageist. You're going to take your ability of Weak Armor and you're going to give it to the raid boss, and then you're going to take that ability from it. So goodbye Defiant on Annihilate, for example. And then what happens is when that raid boss gets hit with a physical move, its defense will lower, and that will stay for the entire raid. That will even work through the raid shield. So you're really taking, even if they don't have an overpowered ability, even if they just have something as simple as like Water Absorb, you're taking that ability from them and you're giving them Weak Armor, and then you're using that against them. Polteageist also has Light Screen Reflect. There are some other moves you can put onto Polteageist. You could also just run Shadow Ball to get the Ghost type stab. Or you could run a move like Strength Sap to get your health back and to also lower its attack. Those are both great moves as well. We're just going to do Light Clay so that Polteageist can have those screens last 8 turns instead of 5. One of the other moves here that we are putting on it is Psyshock. You might be like, why are you not running Shadow Ball or Psychic? Because in the case of Psychic, it does more. And technically Shadow Ball does more because of its same type attack bonus, its stab. But the cool thing about Psyshock is even though it's a special type move, it will always look at the raid boss's physical defense stat. And if we're giving it Weak Armor and it's getting hit by physical moves and its defense is lowering every time it gets hit, Psyshock, even though it's a special type move, is going to do more and more and more damage. So Psyshock works perfectly with the Weak Armor Skill Swap set. Really cool set. Really great support Pokemon. With a Pokemon like Polteageist or any Pokemon with screens, this is a Pokemon that I would only suggest one come to a raid. It's not doing a crazy amount of damage, right? Turn 1, it's going to start off skill swapping. Turn 2 and 3, it's probably going to Light Screen or Reflect. At that point, it's probably going to Heal Cheer or maybe Attack Cheer. And then if everything's going smoothly, then you're going to start doing your Psyshocks. you don't need 2 screeners in a raid. If we went back up to Toxapex, totally cool to have like 2 Toxapexes in a raid, because that's double you get the acid spray down faster, you get the chilling water down faster. The light screen and reflect kind of become dead weight when you have 2 Pokemon sitting there with light screen and reflect, because that's like half your move set is doing that, and because you set it up once, it's good for 8 turns. So keep that in mind. That's why I said it was like more of a technical support versus Toxapex, which is just this like support that never really dies. The reason we're putting the EVs into defense is because Polteageist's defense stat is not nearly as good as its special defense. So in the case I used with Annihilape, the way we survive Annihilape's super effective Rage Fist is because of that defense EV investment. So skill swap turn 1, reflect turn 2, and then you'll be able to survive Rage Fist going forward and not have to worry about the Defiant. Okay, we got the Stinky Kitty with the Assault Vest. I'm also a big fan of Assault Vest. A lot of my raid builds definitely lean into Assault Vest because it's a very powerful held item that you can use. If you don't know what it does, Assault Vest boosts your special defense stat, but it prevents you from using status type moves. So for example, if you're wearing an Assault Vest, you can't use Fake Tears, you can't use Helping Hand, you can't use Thunder Wave. Those do not work with the Assault Vest on. In this case, though, Skuntank can do quite a few things without needing to rely on special moves. We're going to give ours Sludge Bomb, Acid Spray. Love to see the Acid Spray. It's such a great move. Dark Pulse and Snarl. Snarl is like Chilling Water, or it's like Struggle Bug, except it's lowering the special attack of the raid boss you're fighting, which is beneficial to the entire team. Sludge Bomb and Dark Pulse are both special attacking moves. Even though Skuntank's attack stat is slightly higher than its special attack stat, 1 Acid Spray makes these moves stronger than its physical moves, and obviously 2 or 3 Acid Sprays make your moves powerful. They also make everyone else's moves powerful. The Stink is not the hardest hitter at all. Its stats are pretty mediocre. I really wanted to make him work the best I could, and that's why we leaned into the Assault Vest. He is an Acid Spray user. He has a really great typing. I will say that. So the only thing that does super effective damage to the Stink is ground types. You wouldn't bring this to a ground type raid anyways. This would work really good in a Psychic type raid, as Psychic can't hit dark Pokemon. It would really work well in a Grass type raid, as you get super effective damage off your Poison type moves. And we're only actually doing 48 in special defense, because our special defense is really coming from that Assault Vest. And then we're putting 208 into defense. So we're taking a little from defense, putting it into special defense. This just gives it a little bit more survivability when it comes to special attackers. And again, it kind of looking into the trade-off. Like, is it worth taking about 2% of damage to give 10% of damage over here? So the EV spread is very specific for the survivability of the Stinker. Bold in nature. You could run Hex on this. You could run Venoshock, for example. There are other moves that would benefit or could be fit into here. I also looked into like a Nasty Plot build where you would Acid Spray and then you would Nasty Plot. But there are just other Pokemon that do more damage faster. So by putting the Assault Vest on, you just become a very bulky Stinker. You just become very stinky and very bulky. It does have its little niche. Out of the 6 Pokemon, I don't think it's the best one here. I think we started off with 3 really strong Pokemon. I think this one is just very fun, but it is not a hard hitter. It does survive, though. It does survive. It does have Acid Spray support. Acid Spray and Snarl are both 2 great, amazing moves to use into raids. Pretty straightforward here for Corviknight. All HP, all attack. So like I said, I'm very into special attackers because they benefit from Acid Spray. I think Corviknight's typing is just really hard to ignore. We're just gonna change that right now. Actually, we're just gonna change that on the fly. This is what I would do. How to play this? I would usually start off Screeching once or twice, if you don't need taunt and then drill pecking, I would resort to using bulk up when the raid shield is up. Unlike acid spray, Screech does not go through the raid shield. It bounces right off. I would prioritize Screech over bulk up, but bulk up when the raid shield is up. You could run both drill peck and iron head. I actually think it's more beneficial with a lot of these raid builds if you have the resources to do one Corviknight that is dedicated to flying with the flying type Tera with drill peck, and then one Corviknight that is steel with the steel type Tera dedicated to iron head with ultimately the same moveset. You're just replacing drill peck with iron head. You can give Corviknight roost. You can also give it metal sound. You can give it quite a few moves. For the synergy purposes, obviously Screech works with both drill peck and iron head, and metal sound is beneficial to special attackers standing next to you, but why are we not using acid spray at that point? Because it goes through the raid shield and it boosts your Tera. Again, I think Corviknight's typing is really hard to ignore. I did rag on leftovers Black Sludge earlier. I do think that the trade-off for the amount of health you get versus the timer is not worth it in most situations. But I do really like Shell Bell. Because Corviknight hits really hard, especially after a Screech or two Screeches or with a bulk up, you're going to be getting health back with the Shell Bell, which you're getting so much more health back with Shell Bell that it's worth it to me versus something like leftovers. Most raids don't fail because of the amount of damage you're doing. Most raids fail because somebody is fainting. I don't think I've ever, in the probably 200 plus raids I've done with either NPCs or with the community. I don't think we've ever done a raid where no one has died and we haven't done enough damage. That's why these moves like Chilling Water, Struggle Bug, Snarl, Light Screen, Reflect are so beneficial because they just keep the team alive. And if you're taking less damage, that gives you more time to heal cheer. That's less heal cheers you need to do because you're not taking as much damage as fast. So just something to think about. Usually you're failing a raid because people are fainting and because the timer is going down. Usually you're not failing the raid because everyone's alive, but we're not doing enough damage. So think about that. So survivability is really important in raids. That's why a lot of our builds do focus on the HP stat. That gives you the flexibility of bringing those either into a physical Pokemon or a special Pokemon. Obviously, there's some exceptions, as I explained those earlier with Toxapex or with Polteageist or with the Stinky Kitty. There you go. There are 6 new Pokemon you can build for raids. But if you have any comments or questions, or if there's a Pokemon you maybe you have a favorite Pokemon that you would love to use for raids, leave a comment below. I'll look into it. Pretty much my rule of thumb is if it has acid spray, it's probably raid worthy. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching today's video, and take it easy.